Hi everyone, students and parents. Welcome to Careers360. When the nation is fired up over the NEET scam and the paper leaks, let's confront why MBBS admissions in India are so cutthroat, so corrupt and out of reach of so many of us. Why do we force students and families into endless agony, anxiety and pressure? Do we deserve this from our government and our society? The data we are about to reveal will shock you, depress you, outrage you, infuriate you. I dare say this is a white paper on the black deeds of our policymakers. By the end of it all, I'm hoping that I'll be able to spur some of you into action, and hopefully we'll all be speaking in one single voice. Listen in on the data that we're about to present, grasp and understand what the data reveals. Let's start with the total test takers in the country. There are two big examinations for students. One is for JEE, which is for engineering examination, and one for NEET, which is for medical examination. Right. In the JEE examination, a lot more boys take the examination, whereas in NEET examination, a lot more girls take the examination. In fact, in JEE, 67% students are boys. But when you come to NEET examination, 57% students are girls. And this is very important for us to understand. Right. Now, the total medical colleges in this country, all put together, is 704 colleges, and these 704 colleges have about 1,09,170 total medical seats in the country. But the problem starts from here, because of these 704 medical colleges, 382 are government colleges, 7 are central universities, 264 are private medical colleges, and 51 are private deemed universities. And that's where the big difference comes. Now let me show to you the fee that is charged at AIIMS Raipur. It is one of and I'll explain to you how the AIIMS Raipur fees works, right? At AIIMS Raipur, the fee that an Indian student who passes out on merit just pays 5856 rupees. Now let us move to the next one, which is AIIMS Jodhpur. At AIIMS Jodhpur, an Indian student just pays 5,356 rupees, and the mess fee is 36,000 rupees. So what we're dealing with is, in a year, the student pays about 45,000 rupees, all inclusive, to study at AIIMS Jodhpur. In all, if you look at the total central universities that you have in the country, there are 7 of them. The total seats that all these things, AIIMS, Raipur, Jodhpur, and all those things that I've showed you, Delhi, and there are many AIIMS, the total seats that they have is 1,180. The average fee per annum is just 22,979 per annum. The total average cost over the 5 years, including mess and hostel and everything, in our opinion, works out to about 3.65 lakh rupees. Now let us move to the public medical colleges in the country. These are actually owned by the government, different state governments, or the medical college has been built with public investment, right? In which case the government regulates the fee and it works out well for us. The first one I'm showing is Pandit B.D. Sharma Medical College in Rohtak. The fee here, if you notice very closely, is 30,000 rupees per annum. Then you have the admission fee, the student fund, all these things. But in year one, our estimate is that the student ends up paying just 59,620 rupees per annum at this particular public medical college. The second one I'm showing you is in Mumbai. Earlier I showed you Rohtak, now I'm showing you Mumbai, because the public institutions in the country charge a similar kind of fee. There is not much massive difference. In this case, in Mumbai, the Lokmanya Tilak Municipal Medical College in Sion in Mumbai charges a term fee of 1.14 lakh rupees per annum. And then you have the development fund fee, this, that and all. But all put together, the total cost would not be more than 5 lakh rupees over the next 5 years. 5.5 lakh rupees, right? So this public medical college or government medical college, what we call them, in all in India, we have 382 of them who have a total number of seats of 52,225. The average fee that a student pays in these colleges, average, which means we're talking of a weighted average of all the seats that you have multiplied by all the fee that is charged at each of the seat in different medical colleges, comes to 73,969, close to 74,000 rupees, let's say, right? The total cost of education, including hostel, mess and everything, would not be more than 6.2 lakh rupees. Right. So you actually have the central universities at just about 3.6 lakhs, and now you have the public medical colleges at 6.2 lakhs. So that's what we are talking of. Between 3.5 lakhs to 6.5 lakhs is what we are talking of. But this is where the story stops. And I'll explain to you why I'm saying this. The other two we talked about is private medical colleges and deemed universities, right? What is the cost of medical education in private space? Let's understand that. I'm right now showing to you one particular college called American Institute of Medical Sciences, Udaipur. This is in Udaipur. What is the fee that is charged? For the state nature seats, it is 18.9 lakh per annum. And for the All India nature seats, it's 25 lakh rupees per annum. It is per annum. And the hostel fee is 2.1 lakh per annum extra. So at the least, a student is spending at least 21 lakh rupees between tuition fee and hostel facility, and add to that the caution money, the admission fees, the others and everything, you're actually spending about 1.25 crores over the 5 years time. And by the way, this is first year things and it will keep moving on. Some of the expenditure keeps increasing, right? So once we understand the fee structure, let's understand the overall structure of the private medical college. In India, at this point in time, we have 264 medical colleges. The total number of seats that we have is 42,515. The average fee per annum is 12.76 lakh. This is excluding mess, hostel and everything, remember that? But the total cost that a student is likely to spend is close to about 78.82 lakhs or close to 80 lakh rupees. So we moved from 3.6 lakhs to 6.2 lakhs, now 80 lakhs for private medical college. And it is just begun. The problem is just begun. Let's look at the next data set. I'm now showing you deemed university, which is another fourth category of medical colleges that we have in the country. I'm showing you the fee structure of D.Y. Patil Medical College, where the fee at a merit basis is 26.5 lakh. The eligibility fee is 2 lakh. The hostel fee is 3.05 lakh per annum. And the caution money deposit is 50,000. So if you look at it between hostel fee and the tuition fee itself, right, we're dealing with about 29.55 lakh or 30 lakh rupees. Over 5 years, a student spends 1.5 crores a year to study. 1.5 crores. Now let's look at the overall data set. The overall data set for deemed universities suggests that we actually have 51 deemed universities in the country. The total number of seats that we have is just 10,250. The average fee per annum is 20.52 lakh. 20.52 lakh. If you add the hostel, mess and everything, a student is likely to spend about 1.22 crore rupees per annum to pursue MBBS in these 10,250 seats. And that is the core of the problem. So we talked of the very good price structures of central universities, a decent price structure of the state public medical colleges, price structure of the private medical college, and the price structure of the deemed universities in the country were very, very expensive. I'll now come to a larger issue that we have. We talked of whether NEET actually drives meritocracy. Let us understand why it's a question mark in my head, and you should also be questioning that. In 2024, you actually had 1,09,000 seats, but the total students who qualified for the examination is 13,16,000. Out of a total 24 lakh students who took the test, 13,16,000 students qualified for the test. Right? All of us have taken the examination. A typical pass percentage is 35% or 40%, right? Depending on which state you study in, it ranges at the least at 30%, but typically most of the states say you need to get at least 35% mark to pass an examination. But in the case of NEET, that standard has been lowered dramatically. In 2022, the pass percentage is 16.36%. A student who got 117 marks of a possible 720 was deemed to have been qualified. In 2023, the pass percentage, the qualification percentage is 137 on a possible 720. Remember, this year, 67 students got 720 on 720. But in this particular case, in 2023, 137 is the pass qualification mark in NEET, which is 19% marks of a that is possible, right? 137 on 720, which is 19% marks. And over the last 6 years, when you look at data, the qualification percentage is hovering around 20%. So for NEET or for National Medical Commission, which conducts this examination through NTA, the pass qualification percentage is not 35% that you and I are used to, but 20%. But why do they do that? They only have 1 lakh seats. Why do they need 13 lakh students to qualify? Why can't they limit themselves to 5 lakh students being qualified? Because of the 5 lakh, for sure 1 lakh will claim the seat, right? No, they don't. They don't, because when the fee is 1 crore, 1.25 crore, 1.5 crore, many of the students fall apart. The seats that you have in private universities and deemed universities are typically what I call a reservation for the rich. You talk of meritocracy, let's talk of meritocracy. And these 55,000 seats that are there in private medical colleges and deemed universities, because the fee is 80 lakhs and above, not more than 2% of India can actually afford that. The other 98%, even if they get a good score and can get into it, someone would have got 500 marks, but will still not prefer a private medical college which goes to a student who got 110 marks, 120 marks, because those guys can afford it, and this student who got 500 out of 720 cannot afford it. Let me explain to you with data again. I'm now talking of the cutoffs that we have for deemed private universities, right? In ACS Medical College in Chennai, a student who got 137 marks of a possible 720 with a rank of 10,12,392 got a seat. And this, I'm talking of 2023 data, just be clear about it. 2024, the counseling has not even started. When you go down further, Sri Balaji Medical College, 137 marks, rank of 10,09,000, you get a seat. Arupadai Bidu Medical College in Puducherry, 10,05,000, 138 marks, you get a seat. You further keep going down, at 110 marks also, you actually get a seat in Pondicherry when the rank is 11,91,412. 11,91,412, which means when you only have 1,06,000 seats in 2023, a student who got 11,91,000 also could lay a claim on an MBBS seat. And the data that I'm showing is from the NMC website, where they actually show the entire counseling data and what are the last cutoff in each of the colleges. The entire problem doesn't stop here. You know, we talked of the fee structures and all, but it's just, again, I'm saying it is just the tip of the iceberg. I'll now move to the NRA fees that is charged by some of these colleges. In Bharati Vidyapit Medical College, the fee for an NRI student per annum is $85,050. $85,050. If you multiply by 5, the student is likely to pay $4.25 lakh, which is 4 crore rupees. Let's look at another college also, just to put this in perspective. I'm now showing you the cost sheet for the Sri Balaji Medical College and Hospital in Chennai. What is the fee that NRIs pay? It is $60,000 per annum. 60,000, which means over 5 years they pay $300,000, which is the fee itself is 2.5 crore rupees. So essentially what we're dealing with is the NRI fee is between 3 and 4 crore rupees, and that is what many of the medical colleges have. And what does it lead to? It leads to massive question mark on the merit of these students, right? So the thing is, because of this kind of a inflated pricing that you have, the merit falls. In Bharati Vidyapit, the NEET score of an NRI student who got 140 and a rank of 9.96 lakh has got a seat. In deemed university, again a score of 121 on 720 with a rank of 11,10,592 got a seat. And if you look at the merit now, you also have a student in, there is a college called Institute of Medical Sciences and SUM Hospital, Bhubaneswar, Orissa, right? In this Orissa-based college, a student who got 107 marks on a possible 720, which means we're dealing with a percentage which is just about 14%, if I'm not wrong, with a rank of 12,15,000 got a seat. So every time when you increase the price of the course, your merit actually is falling. And that you can see every single time, and that seems to be happening only in private medical colleges, because public medical colleges, students are willing to take it because they can afford it. In private, it's not about what is the rank, whether you get it by the rank. It's not just the rank. The biggest filter here is, can you afford to pay the fee, which is between 80 lakh and 1.5 crore, and at NRI at 4 crores. And that is the bigger problem that we're dealing with. I'll show you with the next slide something else which is more important. When you drive these things, when the fee in public education is about, between 3.5 lakh to 6.5 lakh, and in private education between 80 lakh and 1.5 crore, students who cannot afford the private medical college and cannot get into the public medical college, they fall into the trap of studying or pursuing MBBS abroad. And it's creating a bigger problem for this country. You have heard a lot of these stories about what happened to the students who studied in Ukraine and who came back to India and didn't know what to do about it. It continues to happen in Russia recently, Georgia, most of the CIS countries, Philippines, China. Most of our Indian students started looking at options to pursue MBBS outside of the country because private education is outside their reach, and public education, they don't have the merit. And when you get into that situation, last year in 2023, the number of students who, and by the way, people who go abroad to pursue MBBS, when they come back to India, have to pass an examination called FMGE, which is Foreign Medical Graduate Examination. And this examination, there are a lot of students who are now appearing for that. In fact, in 2023, the number of students who appeared for FMGE was 62,077, 62077. And in our estimate, the number of students who pursued MBBS in India and were appearing for a similar examination in 2023, which is the MBBS India examination, was 63,250, because in 2018, which is the passing out batch for 2023, the total seats that were available was 63,250. So we now have a situation where the number of students who are studying abroad for MBBS and the number of students studying in India for MBBS is almost similar. And this is a very alarming thing, because what exactly is happening here is we're losing students, we're putting them to great risks, we're losing foreign exchange, we're not creating medical seats, and we're pushing them out of India and importing them back into a structure where possibly they've not studied and skilled themselves as much as what an Indian student would be doing. Because many of these medical colleges who went, where the students go outside of India, especially in the CIS countries and all, the education level there and the standard of the skill set that are there is very, very suboptimal as compared to what you have in India. The kind of learning that you have in a medical college in India, where you are attached to a hospital and go around with the doctor and keep looking at the doctors, many of these hospital, medical colleges outside of India are not even affiliated to a hospital. They don't have a hospital of their own. They're not affiliated to a hospital. All you do is classroom learning, and that's a bigger problem. But the problem doesn't stop here. Let me show you one more data set, right? I said, each of the students have to appear for an examination. In 2023, of the 62,077 who appeared for the examination, just about 10,255 passed, which means almost 84% of them failed the examination, which means they went there, they got a degree from of MBBS from there, but they cannot come back and practice in the country. In 22, it was 23% pass rate. In 21, it was 24% pass rate. But overall, the pass rate in FMGE is just about 20%. So 1 in 5 pass, 4 in 5 fail the examination. So you go out because you can't do MBBS in India. You go out, you're not as skilled as what an Indian doctor would be, because the facilities there, including hospital affiliation, is not as good as what you have in the country by mandate. There's one more thing that actually struck me when I was looking at data, and this is a very, very serious thing that I hope someone investigates and someone puts their foot down on that. Now, when you define EWS, which is economically weaker section, it means that you cannot afford the fee, and that's why you're coming through that category, right? And the EWS, as far as my understanding is concerned, is about 8 lakh rupees per annum is the salary limit that you've done. That anyone who is earning less than 8 lakh rupees is under the EWS category, and they can claim through the reservation system of EWS into a public institution. But what shocked us is that about 200 of these EWS students paid 1 crore of rupees or more and joined deemed universities. I'm not even getting at state private medical colleges, which will also be a lot more. Of the 10,000 seats that you have, 2% seats in deemed universities are claimed or paid for by the EWS students. This opens a big question mark on the kind of certification that they have of calling themselves EWS. Because this is for me a shocker, because if you're earning less than 8 lakh rupees, it's just sustenance level. You can just survive, barely survive with that money. And here you have paying 1.32 crores in Bharat Medical College and Hospital in Chennai, 1.01 crores in Vinayaka Missions, 1.32 crores in Santosh Medical College, 1.26 crores in Lakshmi Narayana Institute of Medical Sciences, and so on. So this brings me to a larger question. The minister very recently has said that India has 1 doctor for 834 population of this country, and we call this the India's doctor population ratio. WHO recommends that it should be 1 doctor for at least 1,000 people of any country, right? But here there is a bit of a jugglery that happened. They also added 5.65 lakh Ayush doctors to be doctors and then change this ratio. The real picture actually comes from an address given by the former Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu, where he talked of doctor population ratio, and he said, noting the low doctor to population ratio at 1:1,511. That's what he arrived at there. By the way, this 1:1,511 is the data that was given by the 15th Finance Commission of India. In India, against the WHO norm of 1:1,000, right? So, as I see it now, I think we have about 1,000, for every 1,400 people, we actually have 1 doctor. Give or take 100 plus or minus, right? And that needs to be improved. So what do we end with this entire thing? What does this data say at this point in time? We are the only country where 48% of the seats are reserved for the 2% people. Because in 2024, of the 1.09 lakh seats that are there, 52,765 seats are in the private space or deemed university space, right? 2, this is not meritocracy. NEET is not about meritocracy. NEET is about creating an order so that and a larger base of people, so that anyone can pick up students at the fee that they would want to charge. Because at 107 score also, 107 out of 720 also, student got a seat in MBBS. Whereas at 500, 550, 600, people gave up because they cannot pay the fee. right? And with all these things, we are also pushing our students to study abroad. And in 2023, we had as many students coming back into India and trying to take the FMGE examination to be a doctor in India, as we have doctors who joined in 2017, 2018 and passed out in 23, which is about 63,000 students, right? And we also have a situation where non-resident Indians are willing to pay 4 crore rupees to pursue MBBS in India. So where do we go from here? What kind of doctors would we create when a student is paying 1.5, 2 crore rupees to be a doctor in the country? How much public service would they be able to do? Some of them might be on loans also, for all that you know. But the conscience, the collective conscience of this country must demand that we must increase supply at affordable pricing, so that students who are going abroad can at least stay back in India. Students who are wanting to be a doctor can at least have a better proportion, and give more permission to more medical colleges, especially in public institutions and also in private institutions, as long as they comply to a basic demand that the fee would be regulated for a certain period of time, so that the country can actually have more students staying back in India and pursuing MBBS in India. The country can have more doctors. The country can have more doctors with a conscience. The country can have more doctors who will be there for public service. And that is very, very important. I hope this data, opens up your eyes. I hope this data will speak to you and tell you what is wrong with the medical education in the country. I hope this white paper on the black deeds of the policymakers is corrected as soon as possible. Thank you so much.